Get ready for another episode of the Voiceover Gurus podcast. Real talk about the voiceover industry. This is Brian Lee, and I'm featured in episodes 8, 9, and 11. Enjoy.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
What is this, JJ?
What is this, JJ?
It's the Voiceover Gurus podcast. Very
Starring
nice.
Linda Bruno.
Now, JJ, I'd like for you to do woo, thank you, woo, and JJ.
Whoa, thank you very much.
I would like you to say that title, JJ, 3 times in a row, 3 different ways.
Through what title?
This is the Voiceover Gurus podcast.
I can't remember all that. I take medication. I gotta have to write it down on a Word document, then have my wife PDF it, print it out, bring it in. The show will be over.
This is the Voiceover Gurus podcast.
Is the Voiceover Gurus podcast.
This is the
Sponsored in part
Voiceover
by
Gurus podcast.
A wet motor oil.
How are you doing?
I'm very good.
Yeah.
Long time has passed since we've done the last one.
I know. You know what? How does January feel? Feeling good, right?
Oh, it's just awesome. Well, January 9th was my birthday.
Oh, my God, that's right.
God,
That's right. Was it great?
No.
Did you like what I sent you? Your
Yes. Yeah, the Polydent fits right in. Thanks.
gift? Well, happy belated birthday. And everyone
Thank
can
you.
wish JJ a happy belated birthday.
Thank you
well.
very much. Thank you. It's
Let's-
horrible to be 52 again.
Again. So I was reading something interesting on a Facebook group. And a gentleman was asking other voice talent for their opinion because, he's starting out, but he's doing what I think can be very detrimental to people starting off in this business. And that is reading a bunch of opinions about this business before jumping into it. Because it has a tendency to sound very intimidating and a bit on the negative side if you really start
It's like reading a restaurant review
Yeah.
or a movie review. Don't go by what 100 people say. Go watch the movie. See if you like it.
Right, exactly. But people are talking about all the money they spend on coaching and then demos and then they can't get jobs and da-da-da-da-da. I would not be reading any of that if I were you.
No.
I mean, you have to do what's right for you and you have to do what's comfortable for you, but just embrace the reality that this is going to be work.
Hard work.
Yeah, and that's okay, though. We're not saying it like it's a bad thing.
Oh, no.
Right.
Not at all. But just don't expect it to happen in 6 weeks.
Right, or even a year.
Although there are some companies out there who think they can do that.
Or even, I've had students that aren't ready after a year and a half of coaching. And they're not coming every week, but that doesn't matter. It's more about them practicing on their own, which they do. Right. But because to get good, you got to think about it. You're competing against people that have been doing this for a long time, like JJ and myself. So the more you practice, the more you get behind a microphone or even just speak out loud. That's one more thing that you can do to try and further your career.
I like to read the traffic signs. That's where I get my practice. Mm-hmm. Stop.
Slow down.
And I do it 3 in a row,
Yield.
Yes. Yield. Watch for falling raw.
But also, there's talk on there about how you have to spend so much money on a studio and that you have to invest tens of thousands of dollars.
No.
Wrong. Yeah, I've
sorry.
never done that. So, it's pretty simplified for us voice talent.
Right, especially those of us who are not, we're just sitting at home or in a studio close to home. We're not, yeah.
Because you can get creative and convert a space.
Oh, yeah. I'm in let me see, this is probably
how big is
10,
your room?
and it's got a corner, 10 by 8 closet, walk-in closet. My wife is ticked because she's got to use the closet in the guest room, but it happened to have an air conditioning vent and power.
Perfect.
And it's on the side of the house, which is off the main beat, and I put up a bunch of Sonex. I have a keyboard. I have triple monitors. I have my iMac. I have a 22-inch monitor in front of me, tipped up on its side. So that way I can read a couple of pages at once without scrolling.
That's nice.
My wife did that for me. Then I have another monitor on the right for Pro Tools. I have Duet by Apogee.
That's your interface?
I'm sorry?
That's your interface.
That's my
I'm just explaining.
interface, yep. And I'm going through a Focusrite. And the only thing I'm really using on that is the bass cut. I know people say you can do it in Pro Tools, but I don't like to.
Okay.
It just cleans it up a little bit. And a $900 microphone.
So how many pieces of equipment do you think you can get away with?
I just go through the Focusrite, and I have the Duet. That's it.
So you have the mic, the computer, the interface,
right,
and the Focusrite.
Right.
Which not everybody needs to have a Focusrite.
Right.
We're just saying you need to have the interface.
For 2,000. Then you're going to need speakers, some decent ones. They're probably $200-300 for the pair. But you don't need ones this big. You know, you don't need them at all. You can just listen through your headphones, so you can take that money out. You can get a smaller computer than I have. I've got the big, huge one.
Yeah, you don't need that, you know.
No, a simple laptop with a second screen.
Right.
Monitors, you know, you can get them for $60 now.
Because the thing is...
So probably for $2,500 plus some foam from Walmart, you can have really nice studio, but you can get a less mic than this.
I was going to say, take out the mic, because that's like $1,000 for the mic alone.
Right.
Take that out, and you can get a good quality mic.
You can get a nice Audio-Technica mic for a couple $300.
Right. So really, an interface like the Mini Scarlett is $100, $109. Yep. That's an interface. As long as if you already have, who doesn't have a computer? I mean, you don't have a computer, then you know. But the computer, you've already got that. Everybody usually has headphones, even if it's just earbuds to start off with, so you can start to audition. But the interface, the mic, some cables, it's not a lot.
And Sonics or something similar, Egg Crate from Walmart to deaden the sound. So probably for less than a $600, $700, $800, you can probably be in business.
Right. And then, I mean, because as you start to grow with the business and you start to learn that you either love it or hate it, you're going to then want to upgrade things. You go, I want to get a different mic, you know, and then you start to get a little, that's where the fun part comes in, because then you're like, I'm going to upgrade my computer. I'm going to upgrade my monitors. And
then you become crazy about it. And somebody says one day, says, I don't know, your studio's sounding weird all of a sudden. And then you go into Xanax mode. And you start replacing everything. You get a different mic, you get new speakers. Then the schmuck who said that in the first place calls and said, oh, God, it was on my end. It was my speakers.
And you spent this money.
But you get paranoid.
Right.
You know, all somebody has to do to me is say, geez, I'm hearing a little bit of your room all of a sudden. Oh, no, honey, we need to move.
Well, don't get crazy like that.
You. No, you don't have to, but I do sometimes.
But the intimidation factor, don't worry about that. You know, it is a huge part of your... You getting hot?
Yes.
The studio is a huge part of your career, but...
Absolutely.
Don't freak out about it and think that you've got to spend $10,000, you know.
Oh, no. No.
The coaching needs to be something that's comfortable for you at a pace that's comfortable for you financially. Too, because it isn't a one and done deal. It isn't a 6-week deal. It isn't a 6-month deal. I hate to say it. And everybody's all about like, I want to do it and I want to make money now, or I want to be a voice actor tomorrow. And, you know, you don't get to
I want to be a brain surgeon next Thursday.
Right. You have to put in that work, you know, and it doesn't have to cost you a lot of money, but you have to put in the work. Just accept that from day one. Right. And then you're not going to look at everybody else like, oh my gosh, it's so hard.
Please be careful where you go. Please.
Yeah, I know.
We've heard some demos just in the last couple of weeks, 2 of them, from one of the places that does the courses and the demos and the this and the that, and they don't care because they're not doing voiceovers every day like you and I. Mm-hmm. They're a company that does teaching for voiceovers from, you know, I don't know, probably most of them have experience, but some of the demos we've heard lately for the amount of money these people paid were terrible. The engineering was awful. The mixes were terrible.
Right.
And the reads were god-awful. And on the ones that the reads were really great, I've made them send me some spots that I made them record without 9 people directing them. Mm-hmm. And instead of 2 days, I said, I need this back in 30 minutes, real life.
Right.
We try to keep it real.
I think
And it was just absolute. Their demo was fantastic, but the reads were awful.
Then you have that scenario. Yeah.
Right. You can't live up to what you've got.
With some of the bad demos that we've heard, I think it's more about a matter of the person wasn't ready to make a demo.
Right.
In addition to the fact that the mix was pretty bad,
Yes.
really bad.
Yeah.
But the other one that we heard from another student, she's got a lot of talent. I actually thought, her stuff
Oh,
sounded
yes, hers
good.
was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yes, hers was pretty good. But
So hers is good.
But she has a
took
lovely
time,
voice.
too. She didn't
Yeah.
do it in 6 weeks. You
Yeah.
know, she did it in like a year.
Yep.
And that
Yep.
makes more sense. So if the business model has changed for that company, fantastic.
Did you just say bottle?
Bottle? Muddle? I said
Bottle.
muddle.
Bottle. You're starting to
Business-
sound like the weatherman on Channel 4.
Business model has started to change for that company, then fantastic. But what was I going to say too?
I forget.
Now, this person was also saying, I read about how the market is oversaturated with talent now, how there's too much competition, blah, 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 blah. You know how many clients are out there? It is endless, the amount of people that are hiring voice talent.
Yes.
And the projects are endless. I mean, I'm not trying to jinx anything, but it's just true. If you decide you're going to audition for a bunch of things, you have that option.
Right.
There's constantly, here we are, the winter time can be a slow time. I'm going to make this generic. And even during that time, the auditions are still coming in. So
absolutely.
the pandemic hit, the auditions still came in.
Yep.
You know,
Because they had nothing to do with selling anything or anything. It's just,
remember
it keeps
this,
going.
we are communicating with the audience. Communication and messaging has to happen no matter what.
90% of it has been about COVID, but
Right. But even then, even if it's, something as terrible as what we've gone through, messaging has to happen, and that means there's a possibility of you getting a job.
Right.
So stop.
There are a lot of people out there now trying to do voiceovers, but it seems to me that there are about the same amount of people who are really good at it as there were before.
Right.
And the smart producers and everything will keep coming back. If they have a good experience with you, they won't look anymore. They have somebody. I find that a lot. If they find that you can do many different reads, you've never missed, you're always great and professional during sessions, that they'll just keep calling you back. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to worry about the competition because it's yours.
Right. But like once you've got in the door with someone, sometimes that oversaturation works to your benefit because like you're saying, the producer doesn't have the time to go searching. They don't want to get on voices.com or whatever.
Right.
They just want what they
We
know
know
you.
Linda can do this job.
Yes.
We've worked with her 100 times. It'll be a cinch. It's a no-brainer. And it'll take a third of the time.
Right.
So, yeah. So, yes, the market is saturated with people trying to do voiceovers. But what the secret is to get really, really good at it so you stand out.
Yep. And continue with your customer relationships.
Yes. Like, you wouldn't call anybody and say, up your butt there, mister, for not hiring me. I wouldn't do that. Well, no, I wouldn't. No.
So, as far as customer service goes and maintaining client relationships, is there anything that you do in particular, JJ?
Yeah, I mail them $100 bills.
You pay them off.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I try to check in every now and then if I haven't heard from them. You don't call them every 3 days. If you haven't heard from them in a couple of months, that's when I go. Mm-hmm. And I'll just either drop them a note or give them a call on the phone. How you doing? And it's funny, about 20% of the time, within the next week, you get a job from them. Just because there's so many people trying to do this that
And now you're
you
top
get lost
of mind
in
again.
Right. Now you're top of mind. Exactly.
I don't as much. I usually send out like a quarterly newsletter for Linda
Yes.
Bruno.
Yes.
And
Was
I don't
that like every 6 weeks?
a quarterly newsletter.
Quarterly.
So
5 divided by 4.
I have found. I have
I need
found.
my calculator.
You want to calculate it? 4 times a year, JJ.
Oh, wow, that's not very much.
That's
Okay.
not very much.
No. But that's all
Yet,
that's needed.
people will not flag it indecently. They'll flag it in a positive way. They'll keep it, and then they'll contact me like 2 years later, replying to that newsletter. That's how
amazing.
I know. And they're like, "Hey, Linda, a long time no chat." Blah blah blah. And it's because they saved the freaking newsletter. Yeah. So it's.
And that's the way it was in the old days. You send somebody a demo, and a year and a half later they call and they go, "Oh, I just heard your demo, man. It's really good. I got a great gig for you."
Yeah.
Okay, where's the demo been for the last
Right.
year and a half?
I know.
Well, it's been on my desk. Okay. All right, then. I'm thankful that you called. Tip dork.
But that's the reality of it.
And that's the days back when we used to send cassettes to people.
I remember cassettes.
Yeah, they were delicious.
So if you have to keep those relationships going no matter what. I have been lax in that in a few years of my business, and it has only come from the fact that there was a time period when I was so busy that it just, you get comfortable and you're like, oh, I have all these clients. I got all this money coming in. So you're like, I don't need to do any maintenance. And then all of a sudden you lose a client. And you're like, oh, that hurts. All right, I'm okay. I'm still working. I'm still good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Oh, I just lost another client. And then it starts to get to the point where you're like, you know what? I really got to be better about my client relationships. So
Then you got to call them up and say, my son, little Timmy, needs crutches. And I just need a little bit of work, and I'll do it, 3 for 1. Yeah, you don't want to let it get to that point. It's very difficult, and you're so right. When you're busy, you go, I don't need to market. I'm on fire here. Well, the fire goes out, everybody. It goes out, and then you get on fire again.
It does.
And then it gets quiet. And then it's just a fickle business. It really is.
It's true.
And you get calls from people you haven't heard from in 8 years. They go, boy, I really enjoyed working with you. Well, where in the hell have you been for the last 8 years?
Yes.
If I was such a pleasure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do the gig. So I one time I said, so I'll talk to you in 2032.
2032.
Another $300 coming. I know I can count on. Yeah.
Well, I know for 2021, that's going to be one of my things I'm going to be a little more attentive to, and more about following up because I've been lax in that.
Gotcha.
But I'm not a big believer in making goals for 2021 because I kind of feel like you always have to have goals.
Oh, yeah.
What are you?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, how do you handle that? Do you have like certain benchmarks you make for yourself?
Well, I made a bench the other day. And
So I realize now how I phrase that.
Yeah. I wanna keep doing what I do, and I want to build my woodworking business a little bit. But I suck at keeping up with for me it's hard, and I don't know why, because I'm still working a very nice amount, but I'm about to turn 60. And, I don't book the Colgate spots anymore because, people my age don't have that many teeth to brush. And we just don't get the same kinds of reads that are very popular, and you're able to book, 20 of them in a week.
Right.
I'm constantly getting called for trailerish or, the Western guy like Dodge Ram, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or something that's beautiful and watery and stuff like that. But I'm not in that category anymore of that. And I figure that is one of my goals. I'm glad you asked that, it's time to let everybody know, or people that I don't know, that, okay, here's an older voice for you with a ton of experience.
Yeah.
Who smokes so many cigarettes that he's got a really good voice. And I can do those reads for you, and I'm going to concentrate on what I can do now. I
That's
think
good.
it's time to make the switch from, hi, go to Wendy's. I don't
smart.
have that anymore. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to concentrate on the character voices, which I'm good at, and the older sounding read.
That makes total sense.
I don't think I sound 60.
No, you don't.
I think I sound like, I don't know, I can probably get away with 40s to 60 now. And that's the thing about joining the Voice 123 and Voices.com. People check off young adult and they're 67. I'm going, no, you can't sound like a child.
Yeah.
No, don't do that. Be real when you do those things. It does limit you a little bit, but there aren't that many of us.
That's smart. Yeah.
So that's one of my goals. And I'm not going to upgrade anything in my studio, which I constantly want to do. Mm-hmm. But it's fine the way it is.
Taking a break on that.
I get work, and it sounds good, and I'm not going to change a thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change a thing. Just take care of my health, and make stuff out of wood on the side for fun and sanity.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that I'm shifting this year to focus, instead of putting the pressure on myself of blanket marketing and trying to go after all these deep corners that I've never, traveled into, of really honing and cultivating my existing client base, and really like going beyond where I did to make more of a personal connection. So
Right.
I'm no longer just a voice,
Right. If you become a little bit friendly with them, it can really help.
Right.
It can really, really help. It's not just, call this person and have her do that. Hey, let's call Linda. It'll be
Right.
fun. It'll be professional, and she's great to talk to. And
Because it's like I'd rather, too, as talent and freelancers in general, you can pick and choose who you work for. You know, and if you come across somebody who's a complete a-hole, I have people that I've worked with once, and I'm like, I'm never again going to work with them. And you don't have to. You really don't.
Right.
So my whole path now, I think, is to cultivate and really appreciate the existing relationships that I have. Not to say that I won't audition for any jobs that come in, but
absolutely.
I'm no longer going to put that pressure on myself that says, oh my God, you've got to do this, you got to do that. It's like, it's too, then it becomes overwhelming.
And that's why you don't do it.
Yeah. And then it's like, I'm
if you
stuck.
just keep the whole thing simple. Don't say, all right, today I'm going to contact 100 people. No, contact 5 and then go on with your day.
Yeah.
You've done 5. At the end of the week, you've done 25. At the end of the month, you've done 100.
Right.
And you'll
No,
probably
that's
get 1 or 2 jobs or new clients from the 100. Mm-hmm. So if you just do that, that's as fast as it goes.
And what are your reach outs are pretty simple, right?
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. How you doing? I write him a quick letter, let him know, that I've been doing this a long time, and here's my demo. And I don't bore them with all the, well, I have a 7-foot cord going from my microphone to the interface, and my studio is no.
Yeah.
Everything on my demo was recorded in my studio. It sounds great. I'm a pro. I'm a seasoned pro. I've got salt and pepper in the studio, and I just leave it simple.
Seasoned. That's good.
And I let my demo speak for me. Mm-hmm. And that's the other thing I'm going to do this year is I'm going to change up my demo a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you do
just
have
a little bit.
You have
I
a few
do have
little goals.
I have a few thousand demos, yes. But isn't it funny how you go back to like 2010 and take something from that and put it on your new demo, something that's always worked and always gotten you work?
Yeah.
Like the 2-person spot I did with Connie has been on every demo I've ever had.
Wow.
Oh, so you want to advertise on radio? Yeah, I brought some things to show. What? It's radio. But it was just one of those impromptu things that we did together, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
And it's just a great example of it, too. And one of the car things that you and I did together is also usually on my demo.
Oh, really?
Just to
Which
show,
one is that?
The on hold. It was an on hold for some car dealer. Linda, did you know? And then you're kind of playing like, I didn't know that.
Oh my gosh.
It was a great spot, so I used that. It's good to show that you can work with other people. Not that they
Yes.
do that much anymore, but In our day, if there weren't 8 people in the studio doing one spot, it was no fun.
Right.
God, I miss those days.
I know.
I just miss those days.
I agree, though. It is kind of nice to show that range that you can work. Does play well with
others. Yes, you've got to be able to interplay with other people, and versatility is the key. I mean, for some people, versatility is not the key. It's just their voice and what they do, and they make a fortune. Mm-hmm. But for somebody like me, it seems to help that I can do different types of reads.
Yeah, no, that's...
I can go from a Sandals to Channel 7 to Americana Outdoors, all in the same hour. And to be able to do that, you get 3 times as much work than being, as I say, there are, like your good friend, and I admire his work greatly. I take medication. He does all the promos.
Brian Lee.
I mean, that guy is he's fantastic.
Yes, he is.
But he, that's what he does.
That's his specialty.
And
he does it great. Yeah.
If you can do that, fantastic.
You just jogged my memory on something else, too, with the whole conversational thing.
Linda, I'm sorry.
Being able to play off someone else is actually still important for e-learning, because there are e-learning applications that are being produced where they're having conversations. 2 people in an office are having a conversation about something in HR. So you are actually bouncing off of another talent. I've had that happen with a few situations.
And look at us now. We've done how many of these?
Oh, this is 56, 57.
Okay. Well, this is 56 episodes of improv.
Yeah.
Because none of this is written down.
I know.
It really isn't. And, we interact, I think, really well together. So to be able to do just this part, you've got to have some sort of a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A framework.
Yeah.
Just at least bullet points.
Yes.
But honestly...
Yeah, we have a couple questions. Sometimes we have absolutely nothing.
I think, the majority of the time, I haven't had bullet points. I've had bullet points maybe for 3 of the podcasts.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
we just talk, and we're real, and that's it.
I was listening to...
I have lied twice. I have to admit. It was about my height. Yeah.
I was listening. What was the other thing you lied about?
My height.
Oh, both things were your height.
Twice, yeah.
I was listening to another podcast about voiceover, and I could tell that the person hosting was reading from something, and she was reading so quickly. And I was like, this is so rushed and so trying to get all this information in like this 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And it was really, I don't know, it's not
See,
how...
a podcast to me is on the fly.
Yeah, right. I know.
Not, if you want to have a topic, sure. Then it becomes a radio talk show, though.
Right. But there's no interviewing. No interviewing.
No interviewing. No. But
I
I like the format that we have, because we just talk.
Which is why I like when people give us questions, because we want to know what it is you're thinking
Gives
about.
us something to talk about.
Yes. And that way we can get a feel for concerns, what people are worried about now as they're starting out, because that's the point of us being here, is to...
Yeah, that was a good question, that last one about the market being flooded.
Yeah.
It's a different world today. It's a different world today. I mean, my God.
But, back when I moved to New York, I was competing against Broadway actors and people that were doing television shows in New York. So you're going to tell me that the competition wasn't, tough then?
Yeah.
So it's just different. It's just different.
Yeah. 10 years before that, there was only, as I've said before, 12 of us doing all the work in Florida.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have to audition. They just, beep, can you be at the studio then? Sure.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
85,000 miles I drove from Fort Lauderdale to Miami Beach and back in 1 year.
Oh, my God.
85,000 miles.
And then people caught wind of the fact that voiceovers were fun.
Yes, exactly.
And that was it. That was it.
Yep.
The floodgates literally opened.
Now I take the bus.
Well,
transfer tickets. And, yes.
Hopefully
Any
this
other
was
questions?
informative. Not for today. I
No?
think we are good. Hopefully everybody got some good information out of this. Again, email us.
I did.
Info.
I know I did.
I'm glad JJ did. That's the most important. info@voiceover.guru. Also join us for a workout.
When's workouts? Wednesday nights. Check your schedules.
Yes. And look, if you're just really just starting out, you don't even know if you want to do a workout, you can
What a great place to start.
Well, you can also buy the book, my book.
Yes.
That's online. It is the VoiceOver Starter Guide. And with the book comes a free assessment. So I give you a script. You get a chance to read it. You record it in whatever fashion you can, and you send it off to us. And believe it or not, we do answer you.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We've had a couple in the last week and a half or so. Yeah.
And give you some advice on what your next steps could be. So all that for $49, and you get the book. So I highly advise that. And I'm not saying that because I wrote it and making money off of it, but it's just a beneficial thing. Sure. Hey, I had a student the other day tell us that you and I don't charge enough.
I love them. Who are they?
I won't say, but
okay.
She was like, "You guys aren't charging enough," because she's out there taking other classes and doing stuff, and what, there's some stuff. After we finish, I'll tell you about one. Anyway, this was the Voiceover Gurus podcast. Thanks for joining us. It certainly
was. And don't you forget it.
We'll see you again.
No, we don't see them. They just hear us.
You'll hear us again soon. How's that? Have a great day.
Thank you, and thanks for shopping with us.